Welcome, everybody. It's great to be here in Paris again for a second year. Welcome everyone that's here at the Microsoft campus, and also welcome to everyone who's joining us via live stream. Very happy to have all of the sessions here today live streamed to people who couldn't make it here in person. A big thank you also to all of the sponsors, especially Microsoft. It's fantastic that they provide this facility for us to use. They've been a great partner for us, so thanks very much to Microsoft. I'm super excited to be here. This is our second year for Couchbase Live France. It's an event that we hope to have on an annual basis, so we're looking forward to coming back here year after year. I see many of our customers here today. It's great to see you again. Many have been with us for many years, and it's also great to see a lot of new faces here. So we welcome you to the Couchbase community, and I hope you find this day to be very helpful to you, and it's a good use of your time. I'm also super excited. We've got almost 500 people that have registered to be here throughout the day. That's almost twice as many as we had just a year ago. So it's great to see the Couchbase open source community continue to grow and the excitement around the Couchbase open source project continue to grow rapidly. We also are expecting maybe up to 1,000 people that are going to join us versus the live stream. So this is something we're doing more and more often for these kinds of conferences for people who can't make it here in person. So welcome to all of you who are listening online. And overall, just thanks very much for supporting the Couchbase open source project as well as Couchbase as a company. We continue to move the product forward and the community forward very quickly, and we thank you for all of your support. Now, it's hard to believe that it's only been 6 years since Couchbase open source project started. Started in 2010, and it's really come a long, long way in a relatively short period of time. For those of you who might remember, way back when in 2010, we were just a cache based on Memcached. And then through each successive major release, we continued to make major enhancements to the product, and with each major enhancement, we continued to expand the number of use cases that we supported for digital economy businesses. Again, at first we were a cache, and then with the first major release, we made the enhancements necessary to be a key value database. With the next release, we made significant enhancements so that we were a document database based on a JSON data model. And at that time, really just provided a MapReduce-oriented approach to doing your querying. Then, only a year ago, we released major new functionality that included a SQL-compliant query language that we call Nickel that allows you to do ad hoc queries and gives you a very sophisticated ability to do lots and lots of different queries. We also introduced a lot of indexing technologies, so that was a major, major release for us. Only a few months ago, we added text-based search. Right now that's in developer preview mode, but that will shortly be available as a production release. And so very, very quickly we've moved from being a cache to really filling out this product to the point where I think we can very credibly say now that we are a general purpose database for the digital economy. And that's been our mission all along, to provide a database platform that you could use across your digital economy businesses, and we have filled in a lot of that functionality already in a relatively short period of time. Now, in a few minutes, Ravi Mayaram, our head of products and engineering, is going to come onto the stage and talk more about our technology direction. What I want to do in the next few minutes is to talk a little bit about how you all are using Couchbase in your digital economy businesses, and also talk about the huge impact that we're having together, the community at large together with Couchbase as a company, the impact that we're having together in the digital economy. Now, Couchbase, the open source project and Couchbase as a company, we're laser focused on providing solutions for the digital economy. And so let me just take a few minutes and talk about what I mean by that. So what I mean by this is digital economy businesses are businesses that offer products or services or deliver experiences online using a cloud-based approach, what many people might call internet businesses. And in order to be successful in these digital economy businesses, you have to deliver great customer experiences. Whether those customer experiences are for consumers or your business customers, you've got to deliver great experiences that provide contextualized, personalized, location-aware experiences to your users. And of course, the web, mobile, and IoT applications form the fundamental underpinnings of these digital economy businesses. And an operational database like Couchbase is, of course, a critical component of those web, mobile, and IoT applications. And that's, of course, because increasingly most of the features that are in these web, mobile, and IoT applications are data-driven features. In order to deliver these great experiences, these applications need to increasingly reach into the database, process the data in the database in order to deliver these great experiences to users. So an operational database is absolutely a critical component to being successful in these digital economy businesses. And as I said, we're laser focused on that, on the database layer of these web, mobile, and IoT applications, and we're continuously expanding the capabilities of the product so that ultimately we hope we can be the preferred supplier of the database tier of these applications. And so we're expanding rapidly what our footprint is within individual companies. We're expanding rapidly what our footprint is across different digital economy verticals. And again, Ravi will come up in a few minutes and talk more about what we'll be delivering in the future. And it's really the case these days that almost every company in every vertical is focused on building some kind of a digital economy business. In some areas, the transformation and the disruption that's caused by the digital economy has been happening for a decade or more. In other spaces, it's just coming onto the scene relatively recently. But virtually every company in every vertical is now focused on building a digital economy business. And let me just talk a little bit about, give you a little bit more of a feeling for what I mean by that. Certainly, when I talk about digital economy, the first thing that most people think about is e-commerce, right, or retail, selling consumer products to consumers. And certainly, e-commerce is a big and growing digital economy business. These days, almost everyone is worried about Amazon as one of the leaders in this space. These days, the brick and mortar stores of retailers generally are either flat or down, typically in the order of 2 or 3% per year in terms of sales that they're making through their brick and mortar stores. And at the same time, the digital economy portion, the e-commerce portion of this vertical is growing per year on the order of 15 to 20% for most companies. And some companies growing much faster than that, of course. Some companies not doing quite as well. But on average, for good companies building e-commerce businesses, they tend to be growing by about 15 to 20% right now. And all of these e-commerce companies are making massive investments in building out their web, mobile, and IoT applications to serve their customers. Travel is another industry that already is well through the transformation into the digital economy. Almost all of us, we make all of our flight reservations, our hotel reservations, our rental car reservations online. Almost no one goes to a travel agent anymore. So the travel industry is one that has made its way into the digital economy in a significant way already over the last 10 to 15 years. Casual gaming is another area that has moved from outside the digital economy to inside the digital economy. It's not that long ago, maybe 10 years ago, that if you played a casual game, you bought a CD at the store and plugged it into your PC, or maybe you downloaded an app onto your PC and you played it as a user of one on your PC. Of course, in the last 10 years, that's now completely changed. Now it's the Zyngas and Rovios and Kings and Supercells of the world and the Pokemons of the world, which, by the way, uses Couchbase. All of those casual games are delivered via the cloud, and they have in-game purchase models and ad-generated business models. But that industry has completely transformed, completely moved into the digital economy over the last 10 years or so. Sports and casino gaming is another area that has rapidly moved to be a digital economy business. That's particularly true in Europe. Regulations in the United States haven't allowed that industry to take off quite as fast as it has in Europe. But in Europe, these days, particularly millennials, if you bet on a game, on a match, you are more often than not doing that online, not going to a Ladbrokes storefront, not going to a bar to place your bet, but doing it online. In some countries, upwards of 30% of the online betting on matches is now done online. And so that's another industry, again, that's rapidly moving to be a digital economy business. Financial services, likewise, going through massive change, really at the beginning of massive change moving into the digital economy. Just to pick one area in financial services, retail banking, that's rapidly moving to be a digital economy business. The banks are closing more and more of the branches and instead investing huge amounts of money in the web and mobile applications that underlie their retail banking businesses. Most of us, most of you probably very rarely go into a bank branch. You probably are going to the ATM less and less. Most of your banking, your bill paying, your checkbook balancing, filling out applications for home mortgages, etc., are these days increasingly done online. And so you're now seeing retail banking is just one example of the massive change that's taking place as a result of the digital economy. Likewise with payments, less and less you're using credit cards, less and less you're using cash, more and more you're making payments using your mobile phones. In the media space, the big change taking place there is world moving to online video streaming. All the broadcast TV companies are rapidly scrambling to put businesses in place where they make their content available anytime, anywhere. And everyone is talking now about cord cutters, people who no longer sign up for cable television, but instead are going to watch the content via the internet. So massive change taking place there. And with business application software, massive change there as well. Companies like Salesforce and NetSuite and Workday are three of the best-known companies that are offering their business applications online using a cloud-based approach and using a SaaS business model. That's a $500 billion industry, the business application software space. And Mark Hurd, just from Oracle, just said a few months ago that only about 13% of that industry is delivering their software via the cloud using SaaS-based business models, and he thinks that by 2020 that could be 70% of the industry, just to give you an idea of the rapid change that's taking place. So these and many more opportunities like this is what Couchbase is focused on. It's what we're trying to build a product to support, and I think many of you may be surprised at the kind of impact that we're already having in the digital economy. So let's talk a little bit about that. Let's talk about e-commerce. E-commerce is actually the area that's the biggest area for Couchbase today. Many of you may be surprised that 6 of the top 10 e-commerce companies in the United States already use Couchbase for mission-critical applications. 8 of the top 15 e-commerce companies in Europe already use Couchbase for mission-critical applications. It's companies in the US like Walmart, Staples, Office Depot, and a company we can't mention the name, but one of the largest electronics companies in the world. In Europe, it's companies like Tesco, Dixons, Leclerc, Auchan, and Carrefour. All of these companies are making major investments in Couchbase to support their mission-critical applications. And they're using Couchbase for all kinds of things. It's not like 6 years ago where when we started out with them and they may have just been using us as a cache. They're now using us for everything from user profile stores to managing shopping carts, to managing web sessions, to managing the product catalog and all the pricing associated with the products, to managing inventory, to helping these companies deal with omni-channel challenges. So we're being used in a very broad set of use cases in the e-commerce space. Another key area for us where you may be surprised at how prevalent Couchbase is being used is in the travel industry. One area of the travel industry is what's called the global distribution systems. These are the reservation systems that sit at the core of the online travel industry. And there you have all kinds of consumer-facing travel sites, but they all link up to these global distribution systems to actually make reservations. In this space, 3 of the top 3 global distribution systems use Couchbase, and these 3 make up 95% of the reservations in the world. It's Amadeus, which is based here in Europe, and we'll be speaking later today. It's Sabre that's based in the US, and it's Travelport that's also based in the US. And here, Couchbase is being used for flight, car, and hotel and rail reservations. We're used for inventory and availability management. We're used for price shopping and booking, used for personalized offers, real-time search monitoring. So a very broad set of use cases where Couchbase is being used, and that set of use cases continues to expand as we continue to expand the capabilities of the Couchbase product. International airlines are at the early stages of using Couchbase in a big way. Already 3 of the top 10 airlines run Couchbase Mobile. Obviously in the airline industry, people are on the go, and so mobile, while it's important everywhere, is particularly important for airlines. And these airlines want to deliver a great experience for you from the time that you make your reservation through to the time from when you make the reservation to when you're going to the airport. They want you to have a great experience when you're at the airport. They want you to have a great experience when you're on the plane, and then when you get off the plane and you're in your airport destination. And so they're working with us to be able to deliver those great experiences, and they have a long way to go. I flew here a long way and had an hour-and-a-half delay that I hope will solve in part by the use of Couchbase technology. The 3 airlines here are Ryanair, obviously here in Europe, United Airlines in the US, and Emirates. And we're working with them for everything from mobile wallets, for check-in and directions and maps, in-flight entertainment, so the catalog of the content that you'll see in flight, making a better experience in terms of the in-flight food and beverage orders, also with things like flight and crew scheduling, so helping to manage a very large workforce, and with itineraries as well. So we're working with lots of these companies. We're also working very closely with many companies in the hotel space, companies like Marriott and Hilton, Intercontinental Hotels, Carnival Cruise Lines. So travel is a very big space for us. Online video streaming is another area. Many people would probably be surprised to know that 6 of the top 10 North American and European broadcast television companies use Couchbase extensively. Here it's for things, again, like customer profiles, managing the content catalogs, building smart and interactive TV guides. Obviously, on online video streaming, you need to be able to deliver the content on your television, on your iPad, on your mobile devices. And so we're working with them in particular on some of their mobile applications, personalization, recommendation engines, etc. So a very broad set of use cases. Here we're working with companies like British Telecom, Sky in Europe, Comcast, Verizon, AT&T, DirecTV in the US. So we're having a very big impact in helping these companies move and deliver great solutions for these digital economy businesses. Online sports and casino gaming, again, having a big impact here as well. 4 of the top 5 and 6 of the top 10 online sports and casino gaming companies are using Couchbase. This is companies in Europe like Unibet, Betfair, Betsons, Playtech, Ladbrokes, all extensively using Couchbase for their mission-critical applications. As I mentioned earlier, in some countries, almost 30% of betting that takes place on sporting matches are now done online. And obviously, this is an area where there are some very special issues associated with regulatory control, which is very different from country to country. And so we're working with companies to deal with those kinds of issues. So there are many other industries that are using Couchbase as well. I'll stop with those examples. And one final one just in financial services. Here, credit reporting companies, 3 of the top 3 credit reporting companies are using Couchbase. That's Experian here in Europe, Equifax, and TransUnion in the US for everything from fraud detection and scoring, customer profiles, financial asset management, etc. So hopefully you get an idea. We thank you all for the great innovative work that you're doing in using Couchbase to help build better digital economy businesses, and we'll continue to work hard to continue to enhance the product so that we can be your preferred supplier at the database tier. All in all, we have now more than 500 customers in 37 digital economy verticals. And so thank you all for being such an important part of the community and an important part of this success. Now, we know that in order to provide a great solution for you, we need to do more than just deliver a product, more than just deliver the software itself. We need also to be able to deliver many other things so that we can be a great supplier of this technology to you. NoSQL is a relatively new technology, and although we have tried to make Couchbase as easy to develop with and as easy to operationalize, there's still a learning curve that you need to come up. And so we have made big investments in learning services. Certainly for some time now, we've offered online courses and classroom courses. But more recently, we've provided virtual classes so that you can virtually plug into the classroom training so that you don't have to travel and spend as much time in order to get trained. And in the next couple of months, we'll be announcing a certification program that will allow you to get certified as a Couchbase expert so that you can have your credentials to say that you are an expert and that you are properly trained to be able to use Couchbase for these mission-critical applications. So we continue to make a big investment here. I encourage you to look into the training classes that we offer, get up to speed, and you'll be that much more successful with your deployments. We're also making a big investment in working with systems integrators. We have a number of systems integrator partners here today, both global systems integrators, regional systems integrators. We're working hard to make sure that they have certified engineers so that if you work with them, you can be assured that they have the expertise necessary to help you to deploy Couchbase technology. We're also working with them to develop centers of excellence that have an excellence in particular verticals. And so we're working hard and making big investments to make sure that the systems integrators that you want to work with are prepared to work with Couchbase as well. We also are making big investments in the professional services within Couchbase. We have done a lot of work in making sure that we can deliver architectural reviews, use case reviews, pre-production deployment reviews, post-production deployment reviews, health checks, etc., all to make sure that you are very successful both with your initial deployments as well as with subsequent deployments of Couchbase. And finally, technical support. We're making big investments here to make sure that your digital economy businesses can stay up and running 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Digital economy businesses should never go down. That doesn't mean that there won't be problems from time to time, but we want to have a technical support team in place that's there to help you with issues before you go down, and then in the unlikely event that you go down, that we're there and immediately can help you to get your business back up and running. We have 3 regional hubs. One is in our headquarters in Mountain View in California. We have made a big commitment to our Manchester, England office, where we have a great team of people there that provide support. And we also have a big support center in Bangalore, India, and that allows us to work around the clock and make sure that we can give you great support. In our customer surveys of the customers that submit tickets to our technical support team, greater than 95% of them are very satisfied with the response times and with our ability to help resolve issues, and we've been able to exceed our SLAs more than 98% of the time. So I thank you, and I'll bring Ravi Mayaram up here in just a minute. We very much want to be your preferred vendor, your preferred technology for your database tier of your digital economy businesses.